So this thing started out life as an old RG Ibanez, just regular $400 guitar, and I bought it probably about 10 years ago, used, dirt cheap, 150 bucks or something like that, and pulled a bunch of the parts off for another project I was working on, and eventually put it back together, and I decided I didn't like the plain white and black, and I wanted to do something extra with it, so I kind of put a bunch of tribal designs and stuff on that aren't here anymore. And basically everything turned out great except for the clear coat. It was a Krylon clear coat, supposedly a higher end spray paint one, but it just turned out like garbage. It was soft and sticky, kind of like when you get a really thick run and it's kind of mushy. It just stayed that way. So that was probably 6 years ago that I painted over it, and even after 6 years of sitting, it still had that gooey, soft feel to it. Right here where my arm would rub, it would get the fibers from my shirt in there and get nice red or black or blue tint or whatever right there getting stuck in the paint. So the original intention was just to try and strip back that clear coat, maybe try and leave the designs, but just try and get it to the original paint and then either buff it or clear over the top. As you can see, that is not the idea now. Most of these are not from the paint stripping process, but once I burnt through in a spot or two, I kind of figured, well, we might as well go for the aged look. So when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, I guess. But now this is at kind of the end steps, so I'm going to clear a coat over it, maybe distress it a little more, and then probably do some pinstriping over the top this time, because I still don't like the plain white. But basically the moral of this story is don't use cheap clear coat, and you'll see why. I'm not going to show you how I did the work, but basically a good sanding block, power sander, and a razor blade actually worked really good, because the factory clear coat was nice and hard, so as I was working the new clear coat back and stripping it off, you can use a piece of tape around each end to keep the blade up off the surface, and it worked really good for prying off that sticky paint that never really adhered properly anyways. So here's just a couple highlights of the process. Hopefully this shows up, but if you can see the little diamonds and stuff like that in the paint here, that's all from cheap paint basically. So that's actually the print off a set of foam pucks, kind of like this stuff here, but even that was actually good enough to leave an imprint on this Krylon paint. So this is an interesting one. The paint here actually came up with the bridge. So this was all dry and had a week to dry before I put it on. You can see it like mushed around and actually got stuck to the bottom of the bridge. And interesting note on these Ibanez's, the ground is literally just a wire sitting there. It's not soldered to the bridge. So the whole top side's done now. Only two oops spots, one right here, another right here. I'm getting a little too carried away, went through the white. You can kind of see, hopefully in this area, that shiny part is where the original clear coat is, and then the dull is what's been sanded back. But then this other edge right here is the stuff that went over the top. So that's kind of trying to get rid of all that clear coat. You'd see that transition from the dull and then the shiny edge and then the dull where the old clear coat was left. So all the way across the top, worked back till that's all gone. Looks like there's a little left right there. It's hard to tell because clear coat sands white, and obviously white paint sands white, but overall it took probably about 5 hours to get all that nasty nasty clear coat off, and there's still a couple spots here and there that need a little cleanup. Took some of the 320 and just kind of went a little further and shaped those spots and made a couple more. I'm not sure what's up with this black mark here, but it showed up even when all the white was still there, and now that we're even down to the wood, it's still there. So I don't know what's up with that, if that was a spot I'd patched and something bad happened when paint's mixed. There's kind of a similar spot there that you can see. There's definitely a little bit of a paint patch, touch-up work. But so now it's aged, and unless I decide I want to do some more, we'll take and clear coat over the top of this and then see where it goes from there. But one last thing to note, this is the piece of sandpaper I used today to take off what was left of the clear coat and the white, and you can see it's pretty much, the stuff just wipes right off. It's not really gummed up all that bad, and I wasn't even wet sanding because I didn't want to get the wood soaking up any water. I just dry sanded, versus this is from yesterday what came off with that clear coat, and it just gummed up the paper, and it's some nasty stuff.